Hello folks, welcome to Group 7's final case study. Keoki, Stevenson, Edwin, Sheldon, and I will guide you through this presentation. Let's begin. RFID technology has been utilized to great success in tracking children's whereabouts, as well as supply chain tracking. This has caused great alarm within privacy advocate groups. A fictitious clothing company, KK, wished to utilize RFID technology in their merchandise to identify customers and personalize the shopping experience. This desire would provide great benefit to the company, but was equally tempered by privacy concerns. It is known some states wish to restrict the use of RFID technology, and internationally, many privacy standards varied between country to country. The utilization of RFID left many dilemmas, including would the young customers care about tracking or the loss of privacy, or would their guardians? Ultimately, this dilemma was broken down into three key issues. The first, should KK track customers with RFID merchandise? The second of which being, if KK did implement tracking, should it track its young customers as well? The last issue was what can be done to improve public perception of RFID technology in the face of the privacy concerns.
Our first key issue is, should KK track any customer movements and spending habits with RFID? Our first alternative course of action is to implant RFID chips in merchandise and ask all customers to associate it with their personal data. Our second would be to implant the chips, but use the data aggregately without associating specific customers to the chips. And we could decline to implement RFID tracking for merchandise. If we elect to use RFID and associate it with customer data, KK could provide its desired personalized shopping experience. The company could also track customer movements within the store's departments, and the company would be using an innovative way of engaging the customer. However, this could be a major public relations problem, conjuring up images of Big Brother tracking little kids. The legal and ethical climate may change in the future, prohibiting this data collection and causing KK to lose its investment in the project. The company would need to safeguard the personal data of customers, both adults and minors. If we elect to use the data aggregately without associating specific customers to the chips, KK would still be able to track customer movement within the store. There would be no private information to safeguard, and there would also be fewer legal ramifications than personalized tracking. This plan is also less of a public relations problem than personalized tracking. KK could still be an RFID innovator in the retail realm. Some demographic information can still be tracked, for example, whether the customer made a purchase and for how much. This can be expanded to full tracking at a later time in a sense and respond approach. However, while reduced, there still could be legal and public relations issues with this project. The company would be unable to implement a personalized shopping experience. It is possible to implement aggregate tracking via less intrusive alternative means. For example, motion sensors in various departments could track which ones are busy during which peak time periods. Of course, the company could decline to implement RFID tracking for merchandise at all, in which case there would be no privacy concerns, no legal concerns, no ethical concerns, no public relations concerns, but also no useful gain to the organization. The company could potentially miss the boat on a new and innovative way of engaging the customer. We would suggest that the company use aggregate tracking with a limited initial rollout. If the legal climate does not indicate RFID will be highly regulated in the future, then the company can explore collecting private data at a later time. This is a sense and respond approach. The company can still gain valuable, non-personalized shopping data on its customers. For example, we can see if a purchase was made and how long a customer spent at checkout. It is also possible to guess some demographic information from the customer. For example, if a customer spent the entire time in the girls section, then the customer is likely female, or more importantly, shopping for a female. It's also possible to see which departments are most popular and stock them accordingly. While the shopping experience can't be completely customized with this solution, this plan also reduces the legal and PR ramifications of collecting private data on teens. It is also less likely to cause new RFID privacy legislation in the future.
With the issue of customer tracking now addressed, we now narrow our focus down to what should be done about its young customers. In handling the issue with its minors, two courses of action present themselves. The first of which would be to utilize RFID technology on all customers, including minors, unless the customer opts out. The second course of action would be to require parental permission to utilize the RFID technology on purchases made for its minor customers. This is an opt-in approach. If KK was to take the opt-out approach, It would provide the company with useful data and could create a tailored experience for its increasingly tech-savvy young customers. This would, however, be at the cost of security concerns, as well as the legal, public relations, and privacy troubles. If KK was to take an opt-in approach, it would provide a difficult marketing challenge to convince individuals to utilize the RFID technology, and the company would have to create a very troublesome system to ensure the correct legal guardian would give the blessing to the appropriate child. This would, however, certainly be an easier legal and public relations sell. We recommend taking an opt-in approach. This would allow only the customers interested in the technology to utilize it, and would be much less likely to start a public relations firestorm that could adversely hurt the company.
In regards to personal privacy, RFID has not always had a good reputation. Our third key issue is, what steps can RFID companies such as Radar take to promote RFID in a positive? Alternative courses of action. We can take these issues head on by openly collaborating with rights organizations to bring about better standards and safeguards. We can lobby with legislators to ensure that we have a voice in Congress. We can join other similar organizations to make an industry alliance. Or we could maintain the status quo by simply promoting the positive advantages of RFID to our customers. Course of action evaluation. Suppose we engage the media and collaborated with rights organizations. Well, rather than allowing the conversation in the media to control us, we will have a stronger voice in the discussion. We can select the organizations we want to deal with. We can strengthen the dialogue between us and other rights organizations. This will get the media's attention and give us free advertisement. But there are some risks too. Rights organizations will be skeptical. We may align ourselves with groups that push for laws that can harm us. Any missteps could become public. We could choose to lobby with legislators to ensure that Radar gets a voice in Congress. This would give us a voice in the legislative process. It can result in a better future legal environment. On the contrary, lobbying can be viewed negatively and be a minor PR problem. And it could be very expensive. Course of action evaluation. Making an industry alliance. The benefits. All the RFID stakeholders will collaborate to protect their own interests. It will give us a united voice for legal and media engagement. By joining forces with other organizations, they can help us to create a better future and minimize our capital investment. By following the example of the video and film industries, the alliance can be self-policing and help us to standardize the ethical use policy. Unfortunately, this will mean less direct collaboration with privacy groups, and it may be hard to bring about a consensus. Finally, Radar could maintain a status quo by simply promoting the positive advantages of RFID to its potential customers and critics. The benefits are there wouldn't be any capital investment required. There will be less risk of public missteps. Unfortunately, this will result in a passive strategy that places the company in a reactive mode. Basically, someone says something bad in the media, and the only time they hear from us is when there's something negative that we want to reply to. We wouldn't have any voice in rights organizations, and there will be no additional PR or legal benefit to the company. Recommended course of action. Our recommended course of action combines three of our alternative courses of action. Form an industry association or alliance, which can later be used in a sense and response strategy to engage legislators and privacy groups. This gives us a common strategy, such as what we find in the film and videos industries. It allows us to be self-policing. It gives the industry a larger pool of shared resources for lobbying or engaging privacy groups in dialogue. Radar can use its leverage that it gained to later rise as an industry leader, lobbying and engaging privacy groups on its own.